All right, let's dive into something that honestly kind of runs our lives. We're breaking down a really powerful allegory about the digital systems we deal with every single day. Think of it as the story of a monster, the society that started to worship it, and, well, the heroes who decided to fight back.
So let's get right to it. The whole story is framed like a boss battle against this thing called the blind idiot oracle of Asphaltica. So what in the world is it?
Okay, here's our first look at the beast. And you can see it's not some dragon or ancient demon. Nope, it's a monster made of our stuff. It's this chaotic, glued-together mess of everything we stare at all day. Its face is just a constant stream of emojis, clickbait headlines, and, those little loading wheels that drive us all crazy. It's meant to feel familiar, but also really, really wrong.
So you have to ask, how does something like this end up in charge? A monster like this doesn't just show up one day. Its story actually starts with a pretty noble idea, one that went completely off the rails.
And this timeline, man, it just lays out the whole tragedy perfectly. It all kicked off with The Promise, this great idea for a meritocracy of attention, where the best, most valuable stuff would rise to the top. So, the creation. They built the algorithm to do the sorting. But then came the corruption. The machine just started devouring any sense of reason. And that led to the final stage, the submission, where people just gave up and started chasing likes and clicks from this blind machine they didn't even understand anymore.
And this is the result. It's a world completely turned upside down, a system that actively pushes down brilliant ideas and instead puts a crown on whoever can generate the most outrage. Geniuses get totally buried, while fools become famous. That's the kingdom the algorithm built.
And here's what's so wild about it. The algorithm isn't evil, not in the way a person can be. It has no brain, no soul. It doesn't think. It doesn't care. It just churns. It just processes data based on its own broken rules. But the people, they started to mistake all that random churning for destiny. They started calling it fate.
Okay, so if this is a boss battle, we need a strategy guide, right? We have to understand its moves. This thing isn't just sitting there. It has a whole arsenal of attacks designed to confuse and overwhelm you. Let's break them down.
And just look at these mechanics. Engagement bait. Oh man, we have all felt this. It's that flood of red notification bubbles, those trending hashtags you just have to click on. Then there's the random spotlight. For anyone who creates things, this is the stuff of nightmares. You go viral one day, get millions of views, and the next day, crickets, for no reason at all. And the worst part? It's passive ability, the opaque system. You can't argue with it, you can't ask why. All you ever get is, try again later.
And then there's this one, the ultimate attack, the demonetization beam. This one hits so hard. It's the perfect metaphor for getting a content strike or having your video taken down for violating some rule you know you didn't break. It's being punished by a system that has no judge and no jury.
So how in the world do you fight a monster like this? You can't just punch it. It's not about brute force. The source material lays out this absolutely brilliant strategy called the Aurora Encounter. And the whole idea is that you don't fight chaos with more chaos. You fight it with clarity. You fight it with wisdom.
And this is just fantastic. It's like the Avengers of common sense. First, you've got Kirby literally inhaling the algorithm's own garbage recommendations and spitting them back as pure nonsense, which causes it to short-circuit. Then Einstein steps up and hits it with pure logic, pointing out that even real randomness has rules, exposing the algorithm as just dumb. Then the rabbis reclaim the moral high ground, reminding everyone that real wisdom comes from people, not from code. And finally, the Galactic Council comes in for the finisher, calling it what it is, not a god, just a slot machine.
So you put all of that together, humor, logic, and a deep sense of wisdom, and it turns out that's the one thing the Oracle just can't handle. And that brings us to the final showdown.
As it all starts to fall apart, the monster can only shriek its own broken, bureaucratic rules over and over again. It's like a skipping record. That's the only language it knows, and in the end, it's all it has left as it collapses.
And then it's over. All the noise, the constant notifications, the chaotic judgments, it all just fades to static. And for the first time in a long time, there is just silence.
And in that quiet, it finally clicks for everyone.
This powerful thing they had been worshiping, this force they had called fate, it was never smart. It wasn't in control. It was just a bunch of random, meaningless noise that they had tragically mistaken for a signal.
And really, that's the question this whole story leaves us with, isn't it? It's a powerful allegory, yeah, but it's powerful because it feels so true. So it makes you stop and ask yourself, what are the unthinking, churning systems in my own life that I've started to mistake for fate? Which blind oracles am I listening to?